Welcome back, my DIY nomads. We are back today and quite an exciting day today. So Greg will know, Greg you'll know, weird coincidence. Long time ago I went through a pretty insane gym sort of like part of my life, which I'm quite excited to get back into, to be honest. But I got someone to inspire me, train me and teach me the ways of the force. And today, this man here, Mr. Luke Sumner Wilson.
What's up? What's up, guys?
He has got a van now, and he's brought it down, and we are going to basically strip it out and get it ready in 2 days. We've got 2 days because in 2 days Boardmasters starts, and he wants to be down there cooking, sleeping like a badass, surfing, flexing the guns.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we are going to just do what we can. At the moment we're going to rip out all of the insulation, the cladding, and see what the insulation is like behind, and yeah, really just get crack-a-lacking. So enjoy this. Is this a T5 or a T4?
T4, man.
T4.
20 years old.
20 years old T4. So I finally got a VW on the channel.
What up? Let's go.
Alright, Hugh, what's going on?
We are we've got the Celotex like roughly in place. It's just like I've used contact adhesive just to keep it in place while I work out a couple of things. We've cut some 5mm ply shims just to so when the Celotex is in place, it's like we're talking like it's out by like a mil or two, so that's not a problem. But the shims are going to allow us to get the cladding on nice and even. I'm just about to cut the 2 holes for the lights and then feed the cables through, ready for later.
Okay.
But other than that, the roof's insulated, so you're going to be much more cozier in here, because with all that beaming sun in the summer.
Yep. So warm up. And inside I've just marked out and traced the old ply flooring to save us time having to measure it all out. So I've retraced and cut that out, so it comes in 3 parts. So we've got this part here. I may have had a bit of a wobbly measurement there on the right side, so I've just flipped over to use this side so I can save as much of it as I possibly can. But the 2 parts you may be able to faintly see the tracing. So the old wood's up there.
Right guys, quick little update. So we started cladding, we started getting the wall done, and it looks amazing. We're going to tidy up this edge here, the curve here with a multi-tool. We found like that as we were doing this, we're just sorting out the floor at the same time, and we found in the wheel arch, this corner here, there was a shit ton of rust, and it actually went all the way through to the other side, which was really fun to find when you got like we set a deadline for like 2 days to get everything done. So it kicked us into touch a bit. But Damien, who owns one of the units over the way, he's an absolute legend. He came over and we made a little panel up and we welded it over to cover up the hole, and now we're just using some like premium top-notch body filler to fill up the area. We're going to sand it back and it'll be good as new. And we've also got the sealant to go in the wheel arch as well to keep everything watertight and lovely. But now we're waiting for this to dry, we can crack on, finish off the awesome cladding. We've got it going round the full curve, it doesn't break a beat. So we haven't got like a random piece filling a gap, it just goes all the way around and it's going to look sick. Right guys, we have cladding all the way around. It's looking sexy plexy. We've followed this curve, not curb, and in there we've basically, it's hard to see, but we've built these almost like these like you can see it's off here because I haven't like padded it off on this corner yet, but we've built these curves so we can keep the cladding flowing in one piece rather than sort of having the split here and then you fill it in with a piece, but it's like nailed everywhere. And then it goes all the way across, and this little wall is going to have a thick boy piece of 12mm ply on it, and that will allow Luke to basically have a really strong, secure wall. So I'm going to get the focus in. And he's going to attach in the future, he's going to attach like a 32-inch monitor there and use it for TV, work and everything like this. And then we're going to build like a little storage unit below it. I don't know if we'll get the storage unit built today because he's only here for 2 days and we've had to deal with the rust thing and it's been a bit of a curveball, but it's something to come back to in the future, and he's potentially going to come back down anyway to sort out his kitchen. We are going to just sort we've done what we've done. We're going to get the walls in and everything like that, but bed's a priority, and so we're getting the floor done now that we've got the welding done. And right behind me, I'm doing the bed, so I'll show you how I've put that together. So we've gone with an L-shape bed. That this smaller section here will pull out, fill, and then this is 120 centimeters by 190 centimeters. So this is a full small double, full length, full width for a small double. And the way I'm putting it together is I'm cutting notches out of these areas here, so this all slots together so they're staying in like one piece rather than sort of one piece, then one piece. It's all one length, which is nice, and then the ends are going to get filled with these two cuts there. And this will be the main structure of the top of the part of the bed. We'll then slat this out how we need to, like cover it up with whatever sheet of ply or whatever we need to, whatever we choose to do. And I'm also going to add some legs so the whole bed sits 40 centimeters high. Sorry, not 40 centimeters high, 45 centimeters high. And the reason for that is that is high enough that it provides a good amount of storage, but also low enough that when Luke sits on the bed/bench, his head is not whacking into the ceiling all the time. So you've got to go for a bit of ergonomics and a bit of function. So sorry if we're getting ahead of you guys and not keeping you updated, but because of the really tight time schedule, we have had to, the conversion was going to take 2 days, and Luke arrived on Tuesday morning, and we had a morning sort of just figuring out everything and getting everything watertight. So we sort of lost that morning. So now 2 days to convert it. We have gone from the Tuesday morning/afternoon, and we're now on Thursday morning. We've got a couple of hours before Luke has to crack on to Cornwall. Unfortunately, this was all to do with Boardmasters, and we were going to get it for Boardmasters, but Boardmasters was cancelled on Wednesday when it was meant to start. Anyway, onto the bed. We've done a bit more to it. So here's the L-shaped bed. Added some legs, added also some supports for sort of the longer reaches so that it kept everything within the same dimensions on the bottom. Added this lid here with a gas strut, hinge and everything like that. This is going to be storage for Luke. This is going to be like leisure battery area, and then this is just going to be more storage, but obviously the slats will pull out here. In the van, there's going to be a kitchen in the back that will go and draw a runner out the back of the van so that he's got the boot hatch to act as a roof. And in the van itself, we've got the flooring going. It's a really nice floor actually, it's a really nice colour. Blends into the cladding. I'm just going to whack in the lights now, sort out these spaces for here so those are little jobs done. Then I need to crack off and go to a quick meeting and then come back and help out Luke finish off the last couple of jobs like this wall and mounting the bed down. So we're starting to now add slats to the bed in preparation for the sliding out part. We got some, well, they from Travis and Perkins, they say 75 by 20 mil, but when they really come out of it, it's apparently 69 by 18. We've cut eight. Oh, sorry, was it? It's 8 of them. Wait, 1, 2, 3. 9. We cut 9 of them to 60 centimeters, which is the same width of that bed, and they're getting fixed at either end with 1 screw, as seen. And then we've cut a bunch to 64, so that they go to the back, but then they overhang by the same width as one of the cross members here, because that's we're going to build another frame here that will be that width, so they want to sit sort of plush with the next frame here. They're going all the way to the back because you want it to go over the back edge, because if it only comes out to here, you get this effect, because it's sort of just a right angle piece of wood really when you finish building it, so it just keeps doing that, which is a nightmare. So you want it to be able to slot over the back so it's nice and strong and secure. So far I've just been using, because it just seemed to work quite well with the width, we've been using these bits as shims. These bits of cladding as shims to space it out, and we've been going along, and every so often I've stopped, taken the shims out and measured from the furthest point to where, like let's say I'm screwing this one in, I'll measure to where it is, so that one it says 68, and I'll do it on the other side to make sure that the 68 is in line, and that means that the slats are in line, so that when you pull it out you don't get, like, if they're a little bit off center, the ones pulling out will then jam between the two sort of diagonals, and it's a nightmare. Right guys, final run through. Oh shit, my battery's running out. Final run through, the bed is in, and we've got the slats working. So it all pulls out. It glides really nicely as well, it's very easy to do. Glides all nicely, and basically my battery's about to run out, so I'll tell you more about this when I get home, and I'll explain it with diagrams, but I promise it'll be good. This is as far as we can take Luke. He's now got to head down to Nuku and leave us. Okay guys, let's talk about these slat beds. They look really simple, but there's lots of ways you can go wrong. So I've just basically put this together. This is like a really basic piece of what a slat bed would look like. You've got 2 of your fixed points and one of your sliding. This would be like your sliding out part of the slat bed. Underneath you've got your 2 fixed ones that are fixed to this bar and this bar, and your sliding one which is fixed to this bar and this bar. These slats on here that I've used, they were like some old flooring bits, so they're quite wide. If you're going like super wide with slats, I definitely recommend putting 2 screws in. But with the fixed ones you sort of almost cheekily can get away with 1 screw, but I would advise 2, because then it stops the wood cupping. So like making like almost like a smiley face smile like that. The 2 screws keep that pinned down. Now as you can see, I've given it the sliding out part 2 gaps either side. You're going to need gaps so that it slides out easily and nicely, but also so your mattress can breathe. Another really important detail is to make sure that the part that you're pulling out, the slatted part that's pulling out, make sure that you double screw on both sides. That has to happen, because otherwise it skews and does this and basically rotates. It's not too severe, it's not like an end of the world thing, but it's just it can skew, and then as they all go diagonal they rub. It makes it annoying to pull out and push back in. another problem that people come across when they first build a slat bed is that they screw it down just like this without any spacing on the 2 fixed bars. And this bar, that's the one that slides out with the slat bed there, so this one's meant to slide along there. This just rubs on here and it makes it impossible to pull this part out. I've now just used some washers just to space it out, but now you can understand what I mean, in that when they're spaced out, this piece, which is part of the sliding out part, can actually slide out. I'm doing that with my thumb, so you need that little bit of gap there to allow this to move. And another point from this angle is that the part that I've built here, the pulling out part, the slats are longer, and that's because the tail end of here is resting on the beam that the fixed ones are supported to, and that stops because if you're looking at it from a side angle like that, you've got the legs that go down to the floor and the slats on top, so you've basically got just a right angle. And if the back end here doesn't rest on the back part of the bed, the right angle just does this and rotates, so all of these slats fall away and it just ends up flopping around. To go one step further as well, you can actually make all the slats the same length and just have the tail end of these going over the tail end of those. The best thing to do though is where each tail end goes over another part, make sure you round off the corner so it just fluidly goes over. If it's like a square edge meeting another square edge, they usually catch and it just stops dead. Those are just a few useful tips if you're making yourself a pull-out sort of slatted bed. Just before I go though, I just want to show you guys, if you've been on my Instagram at HughTube Vlog, you'll have already noticed that I put up some pictures in regards me and Ben upgrading our workshop. But I just want to show you guys now. It looks amazing. Excuse the mess, but we've got all this wall cladded, tools are arranged, we've got a mortise and tenon now, pillar drill is just behind this piece of plastic here, we've moved the woodworking bench there so we can have this table saw here, and now where Ben's sitting we've got a woodworking lathe. We're going to put a chop saw, well that is a miter saw I know, but we're going to put a miter / chop saw in that corner over there. And this place is going to become an incredible little woodworking shop. We've got our little metal working area here that needs a lot of tidying and organising as well. But one step at a time, the area over here is looking insane. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch all of you DIY nomads next week.